Dear friends, welcome to another episode in the fantastic world of the military. In this video, we will talk about how and why Russia is losing so many planes in recent weeks in Ukraine. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any news. In all modern conflicts, the aerial aspect is essential, especially for those who are attacking. Since World War II, commanders and strategists have known that the secret to victory on the ground first passes through having control of the skies. For example, in the final phase of that conflict, from the second half of 1944, despite Germany still having formidable ground forces, with millions of soldiers and thousands of the best armored vehicles, in the skies, the Luftwaffe had already lost its super priority to the Allies, forcing the Germans to move only at night and subjecting themselves to highly costly attacks in battles fought during the day. In this respect, the Russian invasion of Ukraine is no different. Before the start of the invasion, the Russian Air Force was seen as the second largest and most powerful in the world, with enormous quantities of practically everything. From very advanced fighters like the Su-35, fighter bombers like the Su-34, to an extremely high number of multi-mission fighters like the MiG-29, the Su-27, ground attack fighters Su-25, and of course, support aircraft like the important A-50, an early warning, communication, and command aircraft responsible for coordinating and covering all major air operations. This gigantic structure was launched by Putin against Ukraine from the first day of the invasion, with Russia achieving, from the beginning and maintaining until now, air superiority over the region. However, despite its efforts, Russia has not been able to establish air supremacy. The difference between air superiority and air supremacy is that the former refers to the ability of an air force to carry out its operations with relative safety, while significantly limiting the enemy's air operations, which is exactly what is happening now in Ukraine. Air supremacy, on the other hand, is when the opponent is unable to carry out any type of operation in the air, not even defensively through missiles and anti-aircraft artillery. Specifically, regarding air support, Ukraine has been and continues to be greatly affected by the Russian Air Force, which has been preventing Ukrainian planes from providing support to their ground forces, being decisive for the failure of the Ukrainian offensive launched in June 2023. However, regarding air defense, Ukraine has been doing a strong job, thanks much to large quantities of air defenses of the most varied types, highly advanced and technological equipment that is costing the Russian Air Force dearly. As I said, all those air defenses are taking a high toll on Russian planes, but specifically now in February, with the Russian invasion completing 2 years, the number of Russian planes shot down by Ukraine has greatly increased. Indeed, in a period of just 7 days this month, Russia lost 9 warplanes, such as the super advanced Su-35, worth $70 million, and the vitally important A-50, with an estimated cost between $300 and $500 million. The A-50 is Russia's most important aircraft, as it is responsible for marking targets in the air and on the ground, also acting as an early warning, alerting Russian pilots about the approach of threats such as enemy aircraft or missiles. Its crew is made up of up to 15 members, all of them highly trained officers and technicians. This was the second A-50 shot down by Ukraine, with a third having been damaged in a drone attack in Belarus. But what exactly explains such a significant increase in Russian planes shot down by Ukraine? It is a combination of factors, starting obviously with Ukrainian air defenses. For obvious security reasons, we do not know exactly how many anti-aircraft defenses of each type Ukraine has, but we know that Ukrainians operate systems perfectly capable of hitting and shooting down Russian planes at medium and long range, such as the German Iris-T, with one version having a range of 7.40 miles and another with a range of 24.85 miles and an altitude of 65,600 feet. The NASAMS from the United States, with a range that, depending on the model, can be up to 31 miles and an altitude of 68,980 feet, is also capable of causing these casualties. But none of them compare to the Patriot, which, armed with PS-2 missiles, is capable of hitting aerial targets 99.40 miles away and at 104,990 feet of altitude. Therefore, one of the reasons for this large increase in the number of Russian planes intercepted could be the increase in the number of anti-aircraft batteries in Ukraine and their deployment in areas closer to the front line. Until then, the priority of these defenses was to protect important Ukrainian facilities in the rear, such as cities' electrical and heating installations, but now, probably as a consequence of the increase in the number of these batteries, Ukrainians are deploying them in areas closer to combat, contributing to the increase in casualties. Another reason could be the increase in Russian air activity. Those who follow the channel know that Russia is taking advantage of the halt in weapon deliveries from the United States, with Congress strongly controlled by Republicans and former President Trump halting the delivery of weapons. Putin is seeing this as an opportunity to reinforce his attacks at some points on the front line, attacks that, to have any chance of success, need to be supported by aviation. With Russia increasing the frequency and intensity of its ground attacks, the number of aircraft in the skies has also increased. This factor, associated with the already mentioned increase in the number of anti-aircraft batteries and the deployment of these batteries in areas closer to the combat zones, can help explain why Russia lost more than $1 billion in aircraft just in the first 2 months of 2024. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe and activate the notification bell to not miss any news, criticisms, ideas, or suggestions. You can leave them in the comments.